I had the honor of speaking at George Putnam's funeral service yesterday. And George is, for those that don't know, out of the state of on the other side of California, is that George was a newscaster, right, and a radio talk show host as well. And I got to know George some years ago by getting involved in the illegal immigration rallies, the movement that we were involved in, and George was heavily involved in that as well. And the one thing that I said at this meeting, and that I realized that I liked about George Putnam, is that I think he died at 90 something, right, Pat? 94 years old. He lived to be 94. And up until the last breath in his body, he participated in his country. You know, you know how sometimes with older generation, when people get older, they tend to fade out and they bring in other new reporters and younger reporters. Well, George Putnam was there up until the end. And the reason for that is because he was a man of great courage. He had no fear. And so he wasn't afraid to tell the truth. You know, he just stayed with truth and endured what he had to endure. Some people call him a racist and all kind of stuff. But he wasn't afraid, and he did not have fear. He was like from the old school, when men were men, boys were boys, and men were men. He had no fear, so he had a full life. And because he had no fear, he also, he was a happy guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A person with no fear, they have great challenges that they deal with, but they also have a happy life. You know, they're carefree and happy. And George was a happy man up until the very end of his life. And I don't know too many people today who are living that way, without fear, and dealing with their country with real issues, but yet they're happy, carefree people. And I like that about him. Another thing I liked about George Putnam is that he wasn't afraid of women. He was from the old school. In the good old days, men were not afraid to compliment a woman. You know, you see a woman that looked nice, you say, "Oh, you look very nice, very beautiful," right? You weren't afraid of being called a molester or rapist or that kind of stuff. George did not give in to that. I remember I was at several meetings with him over the years, and he would make these comments about women. He would introduce some of them at an event or something, and he would just say, "Oh, if I was only younger," you know. And he wasn't afraid. And it's not unnatural for men to compliment women. But now, in today's society, you know, men are afraid to look at a woman too long for fear of being called, what did it call you? A rapist or something?
A sexual predator.
Yeah, a sexual predator. I mean, harassment. Yeah, that's right. And so, but George didn't give in to that. And I guess he just said, you know what, call me what you want. I see a beautiful woman, I'm going to compliment her. So I really appreciated him for his courage. And then also he was really good to our organization, to Bond. He really helped us. Anytime we wanted to be on the show, we could just go on his radio show. It would call us, but if we had issues we wanted to get out there, it was set up where we could just call in and say we want to come on and talk about it, no problem. He would have us on at any time. And I'm sitting there with all these people that was involved in his life, and other reporters and people that have gotten older now, become older, but they dealt with the issues of life. And I was thinking, wow, what a blessing. I can't believe I'm sitting among these men. And because these are guys that I saw when I was a little kid. They were on TV and reporting the news and out there fighting the issues. And to be a part of that, I don't know how something like that can happen. It was an honor to just sit with those guys who were also speaking, talking about their feelings about George or testifying to his life. And I say all that to say that I realize that if you truly love what's right, you truly seek after what's right, it's amazing how God reward your life, the things that he add unto you. And the things that he gives unto you are nothing like what you can bring unto yourself. Or a lot of people work hard just to get in certain environments. They sell their soul to hang around with certain people or to be recognized. And then once you get that recognition, you're still not a happy person. But God will add it unto you. And the things that he desired for you are greater than what you can ever want for yourself. And I'm a living witness to that. And I would forever, ever, ever remember George Putnam. He was a good man. He was a strong man. He was a real man. And it's unfortunate that the old guys are dying off. And now, instead of having manly men, we have a bunch of girly men. You notice that most men are girly men now?
Yes.
Yeah. They're girly men. They're angry. They're insecure. They're afraid of their wives, their girlfriends. They're afraid of women. They're afraid of life. It's just girly men now. Very emotional. And it seems as though as this older generation of men are dying off, we're left with nothing. And that's why I'm committed to rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. We gotta get men back in order because of who they represent. They represent Christ. And if we don't get them back in order, things are gonna get worse.